Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. This is the Thousand Year Reich series. We are going into August of 1941. And so we'll just get started and move right along. There's no declarations of war. We get into the economy phase. The Russians are at 16 now. British are still at 8. And the Italians are at 2, and he doesn't do that right. So now we're into strategic warfare against the Soviets. I can't remember if he played. Do you have anything to play this turn? Yeah, I think he plays his submarines against me. So I'm at a 3. He plays his submarines. He's at a 2 because of holding Basra and Kuwait. He rolls a 4 total. I roll a 4, which is halved to a 2, so I lose another factory. And his submarines are coming back in 2 turns. Then he goes over to the west, where he's +5 to -0. He rolls a 9, which guarantees that I'm going to lose a factory. And since I have 0 factories anyway, it doesn't really matter that I'm down 9 or 8 or whatever. We go to strategic movement for the Axis. I have no idea if he did anything here. I can't remember this far back. Oh yeah, he picked up, took the strategic move marker off of here, put it on this guy, and then moved him way up here somewhere. Oh, yeah, all the way out here into eastern Russia, because he can actually go that far. Try and contain my infantry. He's kind of spread a little thin in the south, so he's got to try and consolidate his position there. At the end of last turn, I had run from Rzhev, which was going to fall anyway because of these panzers. I went and ran. I had a little bit of a hole, so I ran down here and grabbed Bryansk. This is hopefully just going to make a couple of Germans not go forward, maybe a couple of the Italians. Make everybody kind of stop and kill here in August to maybe give me a chance to build a line for September. There's none for the West. The Soviets take the guy that was in front there on this here, puts him in Tula. Looking back on this in general, this was completely wrong thing to do. Where I built my guys. Ryazan, Tula, and Kalinin. Kalinin. These 3 guys probably should not have been built up here. I would have been better served to build it someplace like Yaroslavl and Vologda, maybe still at Ryazan, but I think instead it might have been better to just put him to the south and just concede the fact that he's going to crush me in the center. By not having these 3 units there, that's 3 willpower I wouldn't lose. I'm going to lose the cities anyway because he's got overwhelming power. But I wasn't thinking that way. I was trying to fight for things that I probably shouldn't have been. Anyway, now we're in the Axis operations phase. So he starts off attacking with the Turks against my Russian infantry. So he's at -1, and I throw in an airplane. He rolled a 4, I rolled a 4, so he did it again. I threw in an airplane again. Again, he rolled a 4, and I rolled a 4, so that didn't work. Then he took the Italian airplane, was trying to fly it off, and when we got there, I said, rules don't let you do that. He's like, what? I said, you need to have a convoy there to make it in supply. Otherwise, they can't do that. So I put him back. Flew down to Haifa, over to Tobruk, and said, this isn't going to work. Oops. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he went back and said, "That's very expensive." I said, "Yep." He's like, "Okay, I'm not going to do that." Instead, he has this airplane attack the airplane that's in here. He really wanted to get the Italian Air Force over here to be able to do some sorties, and unfortunately he couldn't. So he went to there. I'm like -4, and he's -1 net. Well, the 5 minus 1 is a 4, so that's going to be 2 on me. And then I think he's attacking at a rel. And what do we got here? Yeah, we set his movement points, and I think we're in combat commitment. He committed and I did not. I didn't think it was worth wasting the tank at a rel. So he threw in his airplane. It's 5, he rolls a 9. I rolled a 3, so I'm actually eliminated because that's a DD result. So I'm flipped, can't retreat, so I'm gone. So I lose a will point for that, and then 2 more for him capturing the city. And that was 3 to go into the city, and then 4. And he went 5. He thought about it and said, "No, I think I want to go this way." And he thought, I can go over here. I think that's where he finally ended up. And then the Italians go wandering around here. Call for an assault. He actually chose to be there. Said he could get this isolated bonus. So the Italians are currently a +1. We're in combat commitment again. He did not. I did not understand why he didn't go ahead and throw his tanks there to try and give him a chance to get me flipped. But he didn't, and he rolled a 1 +1. He got a 2 and I got a 5, so that stopped his attack. Not sure why he's... Oh, I think he's going ahead and throwing this assault here. Maybe. The 5 minus 2 is a 3. Because this guy's -2 for being a garrison, +2 for isolated bonus, and then -1 for the city, -1 for the river. So this German infantry went 1, or did he? Went running off to Kursk, through Kursk, up through the 3, 4, 5. Called for an assault. And this infantry unit went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Airplane flew away. 8. And we put a control marker in here. This infantry in Bodogaya went 2, 4, 5. This was him trying to figure out how he could get an attack. He couldn't get an isolated attack on it straight up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's like, I can't get there. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He just couldn't figure out how to do this. And there isn't a way to get Kalinin without just wasting a move of somebody. So he moved the next infantry here. Went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That got him isolated bonus on Tula. This infantry unit, I think he just moves out here to get the isolated bonus on Kalin. And then he brings the armor up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and attacks at +5. Are we in combat commitment? Yeah, we're in combat commitment because he could throw an airplane. I chose not to, and neither did he. He rolled a 2 + 5 is a 7, and of course I rolled a 1. So I'm eliminated. He takes a hex. And moves. He had 1 movement point left, so he goes ahead and moves up adjacent to Moscow. Basically cutting all my rail lines, so I can't rail from north to south now anymore. Is this... Oh yeah, we forgot to move a bunch of stuff to our eliminated boxes. When he killed those Russian units, I was like, yeah, I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dead last turn. At the end of July, I was down 13 armies, and now I'm down 2 more, so 15 armies that he's destroyed in the invasion of Russia. Which, from the Russian standpoint, as much ground as I've lost, that's too many armies. It's okay to lose 15 armies to have him, you know, on the Reserve, Bologoye, Volkhov, and maybe stretch down through Rostov or something like that along that line. If you've lost 15 armies getting to there, you're doing okay with the Russians. But I've lost 15 armies, and he's, you know, investing Moscow, basically blown me away in the north, and I'm just not doing well here. Okay, so... and then he came up with a device that the cities that he took this turn, he put Allied control rather than German. And then we converted it at the end of the turn so we can remember how many cities he actually captured this turn, which seemed to make sense. So, what is he doing here? I'm not sure where he's attacking. Maybe he's doing the assault. Yeah, he's doing the assault. Throws in his tanks. So he ends up at +5. He rolls a 9. I rolled a 5. So I'm flipped against this guy. So at least I make him have to attack me 1 more time. And I haven't used my tanks up yet. And then he goes 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. Attacks me again. He's at +3, and I'm at -2. I don't think either one of us bothered with commitment. He rolled an 8, and at -2, that means I'm going to die. So I just take him off. And he has 2 movement points left, so he goes nowhere, I don't think. Now... Now the Italians move out here to... This is why it was silly of me to be trying to fight for these cities, because they're all isolated. So he moves there to Rostov, calls an assault. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 into Rostov. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he has 1 movement point left. I'm at 0. He's at 3. Are we doing combat commitment? Yeah, I think we're doing combat commitment. I chose not to. I had vague ideas of possibly getting an offensive out of this somehow, somewhere, either in the far north or in the far south, of being able to do something, because in the center I'm just dying. There's not enough units in here, in this area, for me to do anything, or up here. There's too many Germans in here. Where there's few Germans, I don't have enough units, so I'm just kind of hanging on to my tanks for a little bit. Anyway, he attacks +5, using up his airplane. He gets an 11, and I roll a 2, so I'm eliminated. Takes Rostov and moves across the city. This guy moves out, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because now he has a rail line back to supply. Calls for an assault. But by the way, that's one of the things you can do if you're like at the end of your move and you're only going to get one attack anyway. You call an assault and then let someone else do a mobile attack. And then if the mobile attack fails, you still have the assault in your pocket that you can attack after it's maybe flipped or something like that. Because that's what's going to happen here. This armored unit goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then attacks Stalingrad at +5. And I believe this is where I throw my tank. Or no, I didn't. Okay. He didn't throw his arrow, I didn't throw my tank. He rolled an 8, and I managed to roll a 6, so Stalin got held for a turn. And I think now he's doing his... Now he was doing his assault, and I went ahead and committed this time. Because I figured he was going to throw in his airplane. And since I held against the armor, it's like, well, if I can hang on to it for one more turn, that means he'll have to kill it, like, in September. So, I got to +2, he was at +5. He rolled an 11 again, and I rolled a 6, which means I'm not DD'd, I'm simply flipped. And he's run out of units to be able to run down there and attack me. So I'll be able to flip him over, and he'll have to attack it again next turn. So, Stalingrad, held out. Unfortunately, it's not the end of 1942, where it actually should matter, but... I'm not sure. Where's he at? He's at... Oh, he never took his points off his chart. This armored unit goes... Where the hell did it go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I don't think he actually ended up there. Because he doesn't have supply if he's there. Oh no, he went there so that he could get the isolated bonus on Ryzan, hoping to open his supply lines there. If this attack should fail, this armored unit would be out of supply because it can't trace a rail line. It can go 2 hexes, but it can't get to a continuous rail line to his territory. So, did we go to combat commitment? Yes. I don't know why I did not commit there. That makes no sense. I should have committed this airplane. So it made no sense to me, what I was thinking about. So it was just dumb. He rolls a grand total of 10. I roll a 4. I'm DD'd and eliminated, so he takes Brazan and moves forward. And he moves a Romanian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gets another city. And then this garrison comes up to blockade Leningrad, and then this guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He thought about that, and he said, no, I don't want to take that city. He didn't like leaving that hole in his line, so he put the Italians there instead. And he thought about moving that infantry unit, but I think we finally figured out that he was down to like 11 points. And he was like not sure that that's what he really wanted to do there. because he wanted to move this guy instead down to Far East, where I couldn't do anything about him. And then he oh, that's where he wanted to move, but he didn't think he could quite get that far. Yeah, he couldn't quite get to that hex. He had to be one hex shorter. He wanted to get close enough to be able to support Stalingrad next turn, I guess. And he couldn't quite reach there. So, I'm not sure where he ended up going. Oh, he was talking about, you can run down there and get isolated on him, and I wanted my airplane to be in range to protect the armor. And I'm like, well, there's other places you can move him, like to there. And that's what he did, I think, finally. And then Yugoslavs went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to make sure that I don't break out. And where else did he go? Where the heck are we now? I think maybe we're doing some other silly attack somewhere. 3 plus 2. I don't see where he's got an attack. I don't know what this attack is. Because it couldn't have been an attack on the airplane. How was he attacking? Well, I have no idea what this attack is. Unless... Is it over here? Maybe his... Oh, yeah, maybe that's what this is. Yeah, that's what this is. Because I'm -2. So he's attacking the British convoy. I just couldn't remember what was going on. So he rolled a grand total of 5. I rolled a 3 minus 2, which takes me up 2 sorties. And then he moved the Nor infantry. Oops, I'm hitting back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I didn't manage to draw anything but a couple of Italians back, and the Nor infantry advanced. And at this point, I think he's down to 9. When we calculate it, he's down to either 9 or 10. I think he's down to 10, and he wants to build that infantry in the west. So I believe this is where he's going to stop his attacks. Now the Turks go ahead and spend a point and attack at ridiculously -2 to 0 odds. We went to combat commitment, and it was like, hell no. He rolled a 5 minus 2. Okay. So 5 minus 2 is a 3, and I managed to roll another 1, so I'm retreated, which was, very unfortunate for me, of course. Then he brought this Italian up. To there. Getting ready for the assaults on Moscow next turn. And then we actually started playing by the rules where he had to actually supply that guy in England because he's part of his 3 regular armies. He's got 1 here in France in Le Havre, 1 in Plymouth, and 1 in Norway, and you have to supply them if you can. Before, he was just ignoring that. This thing should be at 5 sorties, but we didn't realize we were doing the rule wrong. And then this thing, I think he only uses this to supply Yeah, he supplies the airplane, and of course the Africa Army doesn't want to leave that. And he was looking at where he could possibly fly to, and technically he could have flown all the way up here to 3761, because he does have a supply line down the rail out through Russia. So he could have actually flown the Italian air up there. He didn't see that till after we were into the Western Actions subphase. So the British go, okay, well, here's my shot in the dark kind of thing. I moved this guy here. He's carrying the Malta garrison. So it was 3-4. Asked him if he wanted to intercept. He said no. 5, 6, 7 into C zone 17. Is that? Yeah, C zone 17. And he can intercept with the ship in Palermo. I think he did so. He came at me at 0. I'm at -2. He rolled a 5. Rolled a 5 minus 2 is 3. So I take 2 sorties, and I must return to base to the closest base. Guess what, people? Closest base is right there. So into Malta we went. And then I tried to get out. I said, here I go, 1. And he immediately came after me at -1. He rolled a 6. -1 is a 5. I'm at -4, so I'm going to take 6 sorties, and I have to go back to Malta because it's the closest place. Then I spent 2 points, so now I've spent 3 total to do this. I went 1. Hello, how are you? And then I attacked him. After I had already placed my partisans, I attacked him. If you look, his airplane here is out of range. So I went ahead and just went for it. I said, okay, I've got that. I have 6 movement points left. Now the thing is here, because he's a net -2, and with my tanks I'm going to be a net +2. Right, up to 4. Should only be up to... Oh, and I threw the free forces in too, so now I'm +4. And then I lose 1 for the mountain. So now, if I can roll a 6 with his -2, I could actually eliminate him. Because a 9, if I get a 9, he gets a net 1. This guy's eliminated. But as you'll see, I can't roll that high. I only roll a 3, +3 is a 6. He did manage to roll low enough, so if I'd have rolled that 6, he would have been eliminated. Instead, he's just flipped. Because he's a 1. 6 to 1 is a DD. So he was flipped and retreated. That's his thing. Of course, I take the hex. Tanks go back on the turn track. Free forces coming back in 4 turns. So now I'm only a +1, -1 for the mountains. He's a net of -4. He can add his airplane to be -2. I can't remember if he does or not. He went ahead and did it. I rolled the defender die instead, so I had a flat 6, and he had a 5 -4. I don't know why he didn't throw his airplane in, but he didn't. So it's a DD result. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I should only have 3 movement points left. Then I got 1, 2, 3. It's all the farther I can get. Ta-da. So I'm just outside of Oslo. He's either going to have to build that infantry unit in the west that he has on his card, or he's going to have to strategically move, repatriate rather, something in his strategic movement phase. I don't know which way he's going to go, but at least I'm doing something to try and help the Russians. Not much, but I'm doing something. And then 4 turns for the partisans. And I think we're wrong on the... He went down from 83 to 81, and I'm not sure that that was the right count at 83. So I'm going to do the math again. I think he should have actually been at 81, but I could be wrong. I'll let you know in the next video after I do the math, or at some point when I've done the math. I'm not going to do it online here while we're recording. What are we at? I think we're done. Yeah, this is me trying to run supply for that guy, and he has a surface action marker, but he doesn't actually put it out here to do the interception, which he's supposed to do. A lot of this was done verbally. Since I'm -4, I needed him to roll like a 1, maybe a 2 if I roll a 6. He rolled a 3, so he's got a grand total of 4. At -4, I'm going to take 2 sorties, and I'm low supply. And now we go into the operations for the Soviets. I go ahead and I attack at Vyborg. This is one of the reasons why I saved a tank. This is a chance if I get a good split. So he's at -2. I'm at 0, which is -1 for the sorties, and then for the forest, and then +2 for the tank. So I'm a net +1. I rolled a 1. If I'd have rolled a 5 or a 6, and he rolls a 1, I would kill the Finnish unit with a no enemy zone of control, having spent 3 movement points, and then it would have been 4, 5, 6, 7, probably back out 8 to here or something. But I would have conquered Finland. There was a chance here that I could have done something spectacular, and of course, I rolled a 1. I mean, that's just the way it is. I get chances, and I cannot convert. It's very disconcerting. And I showed him, I said, what you should have done with their 1 point is probably moved back, taken another month to bring them up to full speed. No reason to give the Russians a chance to do anything. Then down here, we assaulted. Threw in the airplane, so I was like +3, -2. So +1 to 0. I managed to roll a 6, and he rolled a 3, so he was retreated, and I took back the hex. So World War I front down there in Turkey. Won't be for much longer. I'm pretty sure the Germans are just going to come running down here and start raising havoc with me. And I can't remember if I did anything else. Oh, yeah, I moved this guy down here so that Stalingrad wouldn't be isolated. It might mean 2 dead armies, but it means what little German forces are down here are going to spend their whole time up here and not running down here. So, and I think I was... This was him showing me that the Italian Air Force could have moved up there. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Just stop. You can't do it now. It's my turn. And then I attacked here, just trying to get him to retreat some, make him start thinking about issues in Finland. Roll a 3 -1 is a 2, so I can't do anything to him. And then I rolled he rolled a 6 -2 is a 4, so my 2 to his 4 stops my attack. And I think I was just about done here. I have 11. I'm not sure if I did anything else. Nope, we went right on into supply phase. So, oops, what was that? I don't know. In the no supply phase, I think I took off some Brits. Yeah, it's at 6 and it's going to be bombarded by an airplane, so I took this off. I believe I took off the same thing with the Malta thing. It's just going to be blown away anyway, so I just took it off. I just said it's pointless. They've achieved their goal. There's somebody there. He has to roll dice to take Gibraltar or Malta. He can't just walk in. That's the only reason why I did what I did there. I think this is us adjusting, made sure that we had our numbers right. I had started at 48 and I ended up at 29. Going into September of 41. Get this off there. And now he's redoing his fighters. He's doing his replenishments phase. He brought up one of the convoys for the Italians in his fleet. Yeah, because he moved 5 guys in 7. All of his production's at 0. He replenished their fin now, so that attack no longer works. Okay, replacements for the West. I don't think I have any. Replacements phase for the Soviets. Did I? Yeah, I replenished that airplane just to make him have to fly up here and attack me. That left me with 7. Went through the upgrade. Germans built their infantry here so they don't have to repatriate something for the loss of the guy in Norway. And then the Russians. Oh yeah, the Turks had a garrison to build, so they went ahead and built it in Constantinople. And the British go ahead and build another convoy, because that's all they can do. Then we go into the Soviets, and they're going to build all their infantry. Once again, I'm probably building too far forward. I should probably just forget this whole defensive scheme here, but it's so anti-Russian. So I ended up building in Granzi, Ekstran, Saratov, that's 3, and Vologda, that's 4. Where did I build the others? And Tiflis was 5. I thought I had 6 guys to build. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and over here at Volkov is where I put the 6th one. Since he didn't take the city, I said, well, what the heck, I'll put a guy there. There's no armor up here to make my life truly miserable, and who knows, maybe I can threaten a little kitten paw action in the north. That's where my 6th one went. And then there's no diplomacy because everybody's fighting. We go to end of turn phase, which is pretty straightforward. Just get our stuff off the the turn track. We go into September. There's going to be some stuff done here in September. That's why I'm bringing everything up here. Okay, and then in September, all of our dead stuff goes into the mobilization boxes. Then he gets his tanks and his ground support back. And then the Russians get their tanks. British get their tanks. I get an Ultra. We go into, since we're going into September, we roll. And he rolls a 2 for his airplanes, so they're coming in right away. I have a bunch of Russians here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Russians. And why can't you just put it where I put it? So I rolled a 2, a 6, 4, 5, 5. Talk about crappy die rolls. I roll low when I'm doing my attacks. I roll high for my reinforcements. So this is a pattern I've noticed for me, anyway, that I can't roll very good on my attack die rolls a lot of times when I'm trying to attack things. And when it comes to getting my reinforcements out of variable entry, that's where I get all my high die roll numbers. So I get 1 shock army there, and then the next one doesn't come in until the next variable entry in March. And then this one comes in January. And the last one comes in February. And then the airplane comes in February. So that's horrible. And then I roll for the British. I get a 2 and a 6. So the airplane comes in 2 turns, and the tanks don't show up like forever, which are the more important things because I can't really afford to build the airplanes. So once again, dice are just supporting the idea of a 1,000 Year Reich because I can't get anything in fast enough. And then we should be pretty much done here. I think we started talking about things. And there we are. We are done. So that was August 1941. I'm going to do a quick recalculation of his willpower. 83 seems like an odd number because he has, what is it? He has 7, not including France. Right? So he has 8 total, but one of them is France. 7 times 2 is 14. France is 8. So that's 22. And then he gets 16 for collapsing England. So what did I say? That's 8 and 14 is 22, and 16 is 38, and he starts with 45, 70, 83. So he is right. So he does have 80, he had 83 will. I've actually finally chipped off a will by killing a German unit. Oh my god. At this rate, it will only take us till 1983 to conquer the Germans by killing 1 German every year. Or every month. So, yeah, things are not looking good here. He's getting practice on how to use all these wieldy German forces against scanty Russian opposition. I mean, I see 2, 4, actually 3, 6, because I'll lose the infantry. Probably this guy too. So that's 7. 4 for Moscow is 11, 12. You know, there's like at least 12 that he's going to pick up next turn. I'm only at 29, so by the time he gets going into the poor weather in October, I will very likely be under 20 will points. And come the next spring, I'm almost sure that I won't be any higher than roughly in the 20s, which will be fairly easy for him to, annihilate the Russian army and take care of that. So I have to seriously think about whether I need to sort of disengage and just hide behind mountain ridges everywhere to make his attacks very poor and give him very few targets. He can have the cities. I'll just run off the map. That seems to be something I have to think about doing. Okay, well, there's a little quick diversion, and That was August 1941 of the Thousand Year Reich series. I'm Gen608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit the like button because that helps YouTube algorithms keep these videos up for other people to find when they come searching for stuff. And until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.